Okay, we're back to have a look at gluing the covers on. Here we have the text block. We have 4 pieces of cardboard cut out. They are almost exactly the size of the text block. They're a little bit taller this way, and they're made so that you can have a space here, and they overhang just a little bit. When the leather gets on, the width of the leather will also add to those dimensions, but you basically want it very close to the edge. And there are 2 for the front and 2 for the back. So the finished book will be that wide plus 4 widths of the leather, which you'll see as we go. For now, let's worry about getting this gray board on there. Now the reason we have 2 for each one is we have 1 here, then the tapes come down, and we glue the other one on top, and that holds the book together using these tapes. Very, very strong. You're not going to rip those tapes, so your book's going to hold together with a lot of strength. This particular kind of tape can be a bit fussy to get it to stick down, but it shouldn't be too bad. I'm going to hold it right close here, tiny space, and then I'll kind of drag it out a bit once it's glued. That's easier than trying to push it that way. So, a bit of our glue here. You will go through a lot of glue in this little hobby. I have my handy nylon paintbrush that works really well for spreading glue and not getting all gummed up itself. And I pull away from the edges. If you pull into the edges, you'll get big globs of glue on the side of this cardboard and even underneath it sticking to your text block, and you don't want that. Okay. Now this is a lot. So what I'm going to do is stick these 2 together like that, and then pull it apart. You can see it's already sticking up a bit there, but that'll give us some glue on that one, and it'll tidy this one up a bit. There we go. That was fun. I might do that again next time just for the cool feel of it. Okay. You'll want to wipe the glue on both boards rather than just one, because any little bit that might not have enough glue to get around the tapes onto the next board, you want to make sure it's still sticky on its side so that we get the most stickiness we can. Now again, I'm going to push it too far that way. Get this one in there. Didn't quite do that far enough. Get these 2 to behave a little bit if I can. There we go. I'm going to line up the corners here. Get this stuck down a little bit and then open it up and just tease it this way a little bit. Try and have a nice even gap all the way along. And I'm going to press this, but first, let's get the other side done as well. Oops. It's always important to be very careful about cleanliness on your table. This will actually be glued to this later, so we don't need to worry about that. But as a rule, try and keep it as clean as you can so you don't get little bits stuck here and there. And there are all kinds of fun things we can do to these covers later on for decoration, both 3-dimensional and using color. And we'll go through those in the tips list, the tips playlist. And you'll be able to see some inspirational stuff on the different projects list that we have, where we're giving new lives to old books. Okay, I think time for a little fun. Let's stick these together. these corners a bit. And again, always brushing out toward the edge, not back that way. You'll create a mess for yourself. Okay. These can be pressed down beforehand as well to get them a little flatter. And depending on what tapes you're using, some will be better behaved than others. These ones are not well behaved. They're quite strong. They're kind of rustic, which I like, but they are not well behaved. My wife might tell you they suit me. Okay. Now again, we'll line these up. It's right flush with the book here, and we actually want a bit of overhang. So I'm going to open that up and just tease it out a wee bit. There, I think we are even. Now, these boards looks like I didn't quite get that cut perfect. That's not going to matter though, because I can just do a fine trim on that if need be. Okay. You know what? I want a little more gap there. A little bit more overhang on both sides of this book. That'll help to flatten those tapes up under there as well. So with those on there, if you've overglued it, or if you're worried that you might have, or just as a general rule of safety, put a piece of tissue paper between each one and you'll be good. This one will be fine. I'm going to slide it so that that spine cover is just sticking out a little bit. Do up all four, but remember this book's small, so don't do these ones up too tight or it'll open up that front. And we definitely want this end next to the tapes very securely pressed to make sure that we have really good stickiness all over that whole front cover. And once this dries, we are very, very close to putting on the leather. We'll leave that for now. Give it some time to dry. Okay, it's been a little while. Doesn't need to be overnight or even hours and hours. It depends on what kind of book you're making. This is a little journal, so it's quite forgiving. If you were doing a restoration or an old manuscript like some of the ones that I have sitting right off screen there at the moment, there are some fun projects on the horizon, then you would want to be leaving this overnight probably. But for us, half an hour. Kind of tacky edges, we can clean that up. Probably shouldn't be using my bare skin to do that. Now you'll notice on this one, this is wider here than there, so I think I am early enough to maybe scooch that out a little bit, maybe. Maybe not. That's close. When we get the leather on, I think we will be fine. So now we have not only the text block, but the covers, and our little book is definitely taking shape. The next thing we need to do for it